The UFC is returning to the world-renowned Apex for a fight night. Taira versus Brandon Royval in the main event. This is my quick picks, my predictions, my quick-ish breakdowns, and my most confident underdogs video. Most confident underdogs, the rules and regulations is this. Any underdog on the card that I feel has a 55% chance or more to win their fight makes the list, and I'll talk about that dog in depth as far as betting and all of that. But the confidence level shows you how confident I am from that pick. 55% being it's going to be a close fight. I pick them to win. I think they'll win it. 100% they're going to win. There's the confidence levels. 55 to 100. Now, I'm going to share some of my bets. I'm going to have my UFC Fight Night bets. That video is going to be uploaded tomorrow. Those are my bets. Are they yours? No. Can they be? Up to you. Am I telling you to tell? No, but I'm giving you bets that I think are money. UFC 307. Every single bet hit. Every single one. I had 5. Every single one hit that I gave on the video. Now, along the way during the card, I wanted to have some fun. I wanted to switch it up, find better odds, and I ended up missing a parlay. But the casual parlay, it hit. Let's see if we can get a streak going again. In this video, I'm going to actually mix it up. I'm going to start from the main event and work my way down the card. As I get down the card, prelims, early prelims, the breakdowns will get more vague and straight to the point. So I'm going to start with the main event. Brandon Royval versus Taira. I'm picking Taira. I see a lot of people leaning Brandon Royval, claiming Brandon Royval is their dog. A lot of people might have thought that was going to be one of my confident dogs. It's not. I don't think Brandon Royval wins this fight. But I get it. Brandon Royval, he's more accomplished. He's more battle-tested. He has more experience. He's a cardio machine. He will not fade. He'll fight you all 25 minutes. But forgive me if I'm being a little too simple in my breakdown, but I look back to Brandon Royval versus Pantoja 2, December 2 fights ago. Pantoja literally had 15 minutes of control time. He controlled Brandon Royval for 3 rounds worth of time. Pantoja was outlanded, but he was able to get Brandon Royval down to the ground, neutralize him, be patient, and hold him there. And he won a clear decision. I believe this is the same route that Taira can take to win this fight. Styles make fights, and people kind of discredit Taira's win against Pearce because he was kind of down on the scorecards in that fight. But if you look beyond the surface, Pearce is I almost called him a dog. He has really good takedown defense. We saw Muhammad Mokaev damn near have a stroke trying to take this man down. He could not take him down. He went 3 for 20 on takedowns. He won the fight. He was smudging him against the cage. I think Taira can smudge Brandon against the cage as well. You just got to track him down. Get hands on him. Should be pretty simple. Easier said than done. But you can get hands on him because Brandon Royval doesn't have a lot of power coming your way to deter you into running into something. On top of that, Taira, he's faster than Pantoja, more defensively sound than Pantoja. I believe that Taira gets Brandon onto the ground and controls him there. Or smudges him against the cage, but I think he can get him to the ground and control him there. Now, Brandon Royval, he makes some mean scrambled eggs. I ain't gonna lie. He got delicious eggs. Cheese on them, bacon bits, however you like your eggs. Green onion. He has amazing, beautiful scrambled eggs. But against a patient and controlled grappler, I don't think that takes him far. Just like it didn't take him far against Pantoja. And I think if he tries to scramble a little too much, take too many risks, because he does take risk off his back, I think he can find his way into a submission and getting finished. I'm picking Taira. Moving on to Brad Tavares versus Jung Young Park. This is actually going to be my first confident dog. Picking Brad Tavares, 67% confidence. Not a lot of dogs on this card, so I'm not going to have, I think I might have 2 or 3. But I'm about to spoil probably my most confident one here. I see a close, gritty, split decision. Picking Brad Tavares. Brad's been getting KO'd. He has 2 KOs in his last 3 losses. And then you look at his age, he's 36, and you start, oh no, he is declining, but you start saying he's washed, he's not durable anymore, he's chinny. And you got to look at the context of these fights. RoboCop, it was a war, back and forth. It was a war. RoboCop was actually trying to secure takedowns, could not take Brad Tavares down. We know Brad Tavares, when it comes to defense, he has some of the best takedown defense in the UFC. And he was going tit for tat RoboCop. Getting finished by RoboCop, I mean, not really nothing to hang your head on. RoboCop is a fucking dog, and I think he's going to actually be a contender in the rankings because the way he's fighting now, he's taking it more serious, he's mixing it more up, and he won't be denied. I'm surprised that he didn't finish Christian Leroy Duncan because he was brutalizing Christian Leroy Duncan. Then he got KO'd by Bruno Silva. Hasn't aged well. But then again, if you look beyond the surface, he has 20 KOs in his 23 wins. Bruno Silva, he can find shots. He can put some strikes together. He can get somebody out of there. Looking at Jung Young Park, I see no finishing upside. He doesn't have sting on his shots. And he almost has to secure takedowns in his fights to win them. If he can't mix in the grappling, clinch you, smudge you against the cage, which may be a concern, but I don't think so because Brad's much stronger, much bigger. If he can't smudge you against the cage, find you, get you to the ground, find good times to shoot takedowns, and get his grappling game going, or establish the threat of the takedown, he's okay. He's an okay fighter. Like I said, Brad Tavares, he's bigger, he's stronger, dare I say faster, dare I say a better striker because he's going to mix up his weapons more with his low kicks, with his jabs. Then I pair that with wins for Jung Young Park over Dennis Tululin, who might be the worst active UFC fighter signed to the promotion. I don't know how he's still signed. Eric Anders, Albert Duraev. I mean, fair play, but he's overrated. And now he's coming off of a loss against Andre Muniz in a fight where he didn't shoot takedowns, but he didn't get one either, and he lost. And if he would have shot takedowns, Andre probably would have stuffed him. He made it hard for him to shoot takedowns. And he got taken down 11 times. I look for Brad to stay loose on the feet, secure some of his own takedowns. I'm all over Brad here, and I'm going to bet him as well. Fuck it, I'll spoil it. I'm going to bet him as well. I probably bet him plus 3.5. I'm conservative. I think he wins the fight. I'm conservative, though. Like I said with Jose Aldo last week, I thought Jose Aldo would win the fight, but you got to be conservative sometimes. When there's a dog and the plus 3.5 is affordable, you take the plus 3.5. That's my rule. You take the plus 3.5 every time, and that's what I'm going to do with Brad Tavares. Now we got Chidi Njokuani versus Jared Gooden. Low confidence, I'm going to go Njokuani. He's much longer. I look to see him fight at range, use his kicks well, turn up the volume a little bit, use his kicks as well, engage on his timing, and he can crack. Njokuani can crack. The reason my confidence is low because you can't really trust that volume as much, and he tends to fade in the fights. Jared Gooden is a good athlete. Not much technique with it, but he's a good athlete. He's going to come forward. He's going to pressure. And if there's a tired opponent in front of somebody who's a good athlete, who's strong, can crack himself, and wants to come forward and put a little pressure on his opponent, that could be trouble. But I'm going to stick with Njokuani. Now you got Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. I'm picking Grant Dawson, okay? He's a winner. Boring, but he's a winner. Outside of the Bobby Green hiccup, he's a winner. And he's been very trustworthy. I'm not going to trust him with my money. Because fuck you, Grant. Okay? The first time I ever put you on a slip, my nigga, you get KO'd by a jab by Bobby Green. You're on the parlay ban list. I'll never bet money on you ever again. Especially whenever you're not affordable anymore. Your minus 425. Because you're so boring, you can't get a raise in competition. You can't get a good name under your belt. But he's got great pressure. He's a great back taker. Good control. Good takedowns. All of the above. Stays safe when he's shooting his takedowns as well. And if he wants a raise in competition and in status, you better start getting some opponents out of there early. Quick and in a hurry. Because you ain't got no ground and pound style. You will control position over submission until the submission comes. That's trash. We don't want to see that shit. So get a finish. Early. Take somebody, sub them in the first round. Okay. We can get behind that. The UFC can get behind that. He's in a position to where if he start losing some fights or going to skid, he might not get another contract. Shit, Muhammad Mokaev just got cut. And yeah, he doesn't have the extracurriculars that Muhammad Mokaev had, but I'm willing to say Muhammad Mokaev was more entertaining. Fuck that. He is more entertaining than Grant Dawson. And I didn't think Muhammad Mokaev was that entertaining. So Grant, even though you're winning, you're 21-2, I believe. There's a reason why you're not getting raised in those ranks. Also, you got KO'd by Bobby Green with a jab. One punch. Rafa's a good fighter, though. Good BJJ off his back. Not afraid to put pressure on his opponent, let his hands go. Land at high volume, but all that really goes out the window when Grant's on your legs. So I'm picking Grant. Now we got D-Rod versus Alex Morono. We got another confident underdog here. That's right. 55% though, the very lowest. Meaning I think the fight's going to be close. I think it's going to be gritty. I think it's probably going to come down to a split decision. But I'm picking Alhassan Morono. Does that mean I'm better than Alhassan Morono? No. Our picks bets? No. We got it? Okay, cool. Don't touch it. Don't touch this fight. Don't touch it. I'm telling you not to touch it while I'm trying to convince myself not to touch it. Because I want to bet Alhassan Morono plus 3.5, but I'm not going to do it. And if I do, I won't put it in a parlay. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. But the line is wide, like a little too wide. So I might have to touch it. But it won't be in a parlay if I touch it. Let's just not touch it. D-Rod, we know he's a boxer. People say he's a smooth boxer, good boxer. He's a boxer. You know, he's good. He's okay. Overrated power. He's not much of a threat with his boxing. He'll land on you and land at a high volume, but I mean, he's not gonna really put you away. He hasn't had a KO in 7 fights. He doesn't really hurt his opponents either. Plus, Morono's pretty durable. He's a mixed martial artist, man. Not great at one thing. Not really great at anything, but he's good at everything. He's very well rounded. Relies on his instincts a lot. He's funky on the feet, but he can secure his own takedowns and grapple. He just doesn't use it all the time. He's not trustworthy. Because he can grapple. He can secure takedowns. He does have trips. And when he's on the mat, he does know what he's doing. But you can't really trust him to use all his tools all the time. So he's untrustworthy. But I know Morono on a full camp will look much different than Morono against Niko Price. D-Rod fades harder in his fights, man. He fades. And he can't defend takedowns if his life depended on it. I'm going to pick Alhassan Morono to use his tools, mix it up, stay safe on the feet, match the volume, set his own pace for the fight to make D-Rod gas. Picking Morono by split decision. Please talk me out of playing plus 3.5. Please. Now we're going Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Josh Fremd. This is probably my most confident pick here. Picking Abdul by KO. There's not one aspect of the game that Josh has the edge over Abdul when it comes to fighting. Like, what is it? Not grappling, not wrestling, not speed, not power, not durability. The only thing that's leaning Josh's way is cardio, and that ain't gonna get you too far whenever you're seeing Tweety birds in the first round. Picking Abdul Razak Alhassan. Now this is the part where the breakdowns get a bit more vague, and we sort of rapid fire, but I'm still gonna give you a decent breakdown for these fights. We got CJ Vergara versus Ramazanbek Temirov, and in this fight, I really want to pick CJ. He's an established veteran in the UFC at the highest level. And he's fighting a guy who's making his debut from Ryzen. And he's been fighting guys with 0 fights, 1 fight. And he's obviously knocking them stiff in the first round. And my only problem is what happens whenever CJ's still there in the second round. And then maybe we get to a third round. How hard will he fade? How hard does he depend on that first round KO with the bright lights on? I'm still going to pick Ramazan, though, because he's fast. All gas, no brakes. He's fast. He kind of imposes his will on guys. And he does have the power to match it. I just don't know how sustainable that is. I'm not going to bet this fight. I'm not going to touch it. But I'm picking Ramazanbek Temirov. Now we got Jonathan Pearce versus Pat Sabatini. I'm going to pick Jonathan Pearce. I feel a come forward wrestler beats a defensive, work off your back kind of BJJ guy. Johnny also has the striking upside. Johnny's also more active with the hands. And Pat's durability is a little questionable. Not really to say he's chinny. It's a little questionable. And he looks very uncomfortable on the feet. It doesn't look like he wants to be there. It doesn't look like he belongs there. And I don't think the grappling cancels each other out. So I think they're both going to grapple. But I think with his on the feet, Jonathan's going to be landing. And the grappling is going to be a stalemate with some nice scrambled eggs. I'm picking Jonathan. Now we got Timbo Gorimbo versus Niko Price. This one's pretty simple for me as well. Timbo Gorimbo. Gorimbo. Y'all know I butcher names. These two guys are in drastically different points of their careers. Niko's fighting out that contract. I think he has 2 more fights left on his contract. Fighting out that contract, looking to collect a check, have a fun scrap. Timba, he has championship aspirations. Will he get there? I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. You don't know. But he's looking to win and climb the ranks. Raise his class. Raise his hierarchy. Get into the rankings. fight some named opponents, make a legacy for himself. That's his goals and his aspirations. And he's super locked in, super focused. He's going to be much faster than Niko Price. He's going to be much stronger than Niko Price. He's going to be longer. He's going to be able to engage when he wants to engage. He probably clinches against the cage, secures some takedowns against Niko Price, and wins the decision. So I'm picking Timber Gorimbo. Then we have a confident dog here. This might be the third dog here because on UFC.com, Junior Tafa is plus 285. I looked on DraftKings. I couldn't find the odds. I tried to find it on other websites. I couldn't find it. As of recording it right now on Wednesday. This is Wednesday. We knew he was fighting Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett pulled out because of the storm. Cat 5 about to hit Florida. Crazy, biggest storm since 1920. Everybody evacuate, please. Do not stay. I'm seeing shit online. They saying write your name and your birthday on your body if you stay, in case you die. So let's get out of there. All right. But back to this. Sean Sharaf. I don't even know if I'm saying that. Sean Sharaf. I don't give a damn. I watched some of his tape. He has some speed. He obviously has power. He's a heavyweight. But these matchups are absolutely fucking disgusting. The first fight I watched, I forgot who it was against. First fight I watched, it was against a guy making his debut. He was an ex-football player. He KO'd him in like 30 seconds. The football player literally shelled up as the bell rung with his head down. He ate an uppercut and got KO'd. Nasty matchup. And if he wasn't fighting a debut fighter, he was fighting a guy coming off of a KO or multiple KOs in a row. In his latest fight, he beat a guy, Leon, whatever. He was 3-1. Fair play. Positive record. But 2 amateur fights, 4 pro fights. Now you're coming in on 5 days notice. It's the Apex, but it's still under the bright lights on ESPN Plus and the UFC against Junior Tafa, who can't be trusted against good competition. And I'm not saying Sean isn't good competition, but against Junior Tafa, who was a former kickboxer, and now he's in the UFC. He's been fighting at the UFC. He has much more experience under his belt. He's fought much stiffer competition. He's seen more things than Sean has seen. He's taller, longer, probably faster. There's no way that Sean wins this fight. I don't believe UFC.com when it says plus 285. There's no way. Junior Tafa, he was minus damn near 400 against Chris Barnett. He better be minus 800 against Sean Sharaf. What the fuck? Yeah, so if he actually is an underdog, which is crazy, or if it even is close in any way, he's my most confident dog at 95%. He should win this fight. If he loses this fight, we might have to start looking at him, and it might be time to cut him. Now we got Julia Polastri versus Court McKenna. Gonna pick Julia. Her defense, her takedown defense is pretty bad, but her offensive wrestling is not bad at all. She actually lands takedowns at a high success rate, and she can defensively grapple as well. Julia and McKenna, they're both well-rounded, both balanced fighters for the most part, but Julia is much more technical, much more straight with her shots. She's longer, much more patient, but not in a bad way. Course decision making, man, and her fight IQ makes me lean Julia, but it also makes me lean away from the Court McKenna plus 3.5 because these WMMA fights, man. I mean, you bet plus 3.5 on if the two skill levels are somewhat close and one isn't just a crazy finisher, and you bet plus 3.5 on the dog. That shit usually hits most of the time. I just realized I've been calling her Court. Her name's Corey McKenna. Hey, I'm a casual, right? Anyways. It was Jacqueline Amorum. She fucking shoots a takedown as soon as the bell rings. Against Jacqueline Amorum, who has probably some of the best BJJ in WMMA. Dry, jumps into a guillotine. Like, it's just some of the decision making just doesn't make sense. So that plus 3.5 may be a little dangerous because she could get finished, but I think the skill levels aren't that different. I just think Julia's more polished and she's smarter. She has higher fight IQ. Corey's still super young. I think she's 25, 26. She has plenty of time. I think she'll be good in this division, though. Now we got Dan Argueta versus Cody Hadon. Gonna be Cody Hadon in his debut. I am. Not high confidence. 2 fast-paced fighters who love to stay busy and work. But I'm picking Cody because of his striking upside. Both a good wrestler, but Dan doesn't have any. He don't got no hands. And I just can't pick you if you ain't got no hands. So I'm picking Cody. Even though it's a debut, debuts are picking Cody Hadon. Now we got Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. Opening up the card. Open up the early prelims. I'm going to pick Clayton. He's a solid wrestler. High pace. Good pressure. Lucas is solid. Has good volume, but he's not defensively sound. He's not defensively aware. So he's easy to hit and he's easy to take down. He finds himself in bad positions. I can't pick if you find yourself in bad positions. So I'm going to pick Clayton Carpenter. Especially a guy who has so much wrestling background and so much experience. I think the takedown is going to be easy to secure, and he might find a finish. That's it. That's my most confident dogs and my quick picks for UFC Fight Night. Taira versus Royval. Tune in tomorrow for my bets that I will be placing. I'm not giving you the tell. If you want to tell, cool. But stay tuned. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. Yeah.